Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Business Beyond the Beach in partnership with our friends here at Miami Community Newspapers. My name is Brittnie Bassant, President and CEO of Miami Beach Chamber of Commerce, and we're so thrilled to have you joining us for another episode. Want to go ahead and give a huge shout out to our coffee sponsor, Maman, for generously providing coffee for this series. Of course, they've got locations all across the county, but our favorite is their South Beach location in Sunset Harbor. And today, I am thrilled to welcome my guest on the show, Junior from First Class Parking. I'll let him introduce himself properly with his full government name, which I just for the life of me cannot pronounce. But Junior, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, first of all, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Euleryucy Jr. Lilchin. It's a German Czechoslovakian name. Everybody knows me by JR.
By JR. That's how we're going to do it. Yeah. So this is so exciting. So you are the Vice President of Business Development for Florida for First Class Parking. And right before we started, I was like, 21 years of experience. Like, geez, how? Because you're so young. You started when you were very young, but you do bring 21 years of experience in the valet industry, in the service and hospitality industry. So talk to me about that, starting as, a valet supervisor, and now you are Vice President of Business Development for Florida for First Class Parking. So tell me a little bit about First Class Parking as well, too. But then I want to know about your professional journey.
No, absolutely. Well, let me tell you about First Class Parking. First Class Parking has been 25 years in the industry. The partners, 3 partners.
Wait a minute, pause. So it's been around for 25 years and you've been with them for 21 years?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. No. So because I was about to be like, Jesus, Junior, you're with this company from ground up.
No.
Okay.
They basically, started 25 years ago. They started with all this journey of parking. One of the partners, there's 3 partners. One of them, he created something in FIU. All the students were getting late, to class. So he said, you know what? I want to park their cars for free, just tips. He did it. He came out on some newspapers back then when the newspapers was the real thing.
So he offered free valet at FIU.
Yeah, for just tips, for the student not to be late. It was a success because everybody was just leaving their cars, get into class because the harder part to as
I remember,
is, like parking. So it was connected and everything with the Miami Beach City. Then we started the concession of the city 17 years ago. It's been a journey, amazing, but that opens the doors to a lot of, potential clients and everything in the past 25 years. But the real concession it's been 17 years, so it's amazing because you start providing service on something that just people come, it's very busy. Our Basel, we do 20,000 vehicles in a week. It's crazy.
Wild.
But people don't see it like that. They just see a service and experience, and that's what we are. So that's when I come in. I started when I was 17 years old. It was an amazing journey. It was something really, really good to live. But I graduated at 17 years old from high school. I started college and I'm like, I need money. I want to get money. I'm not the type of person that sits in an office. I can't. I sit down for an hour, 2 hours max, and I'm already going crazy. So I started, working as a valet in hotels on Este and Key Biscayne, the Lowe's and the Royal Palms. And I started making money. But it wasn't the money just running for cars. It was creating that experience for the guests. And people start realizing that, why is that guy making more money than us? We were doing the same. So I stepped to the next role that it was leadership. Leadership was amazing because I started showing them what they're supposed to do, what they're supposed to bring on the table. And it's just an experience for the guest or the client. After that, I saw a vision. And the vision was like, the client is not looking for us just to park their cars. They're looking to see something more that is a service, that is an experience, because we're the front and the last experience when you arrive to any place. When that happened, I stepped into management. I started creating amazing relationships with management, property management, hotels, board members, and that created trust. But in the process of those 21 years, I see it more like I started 21 years ago. I'm the same way, different suit, but I will say that it's just an impact that we can do to the community, and I've done it.
That's absolutely incredible, and you've touched on so much that I was gonna ask you about. I'm still going to. So 21 years First Class Parking has been in this business, and what do you think? Because it is a very competitive market, right? So what do you think that secret sauce is? You've touched on it. I don't know if you want to elaborate on it, but what really makes you guys different from
there's 3 words that I want to describe you.
Okay.
But it's for us is people, trust, and service. That's our 3 core
pillars.
Yeah, I will say it because we create relationship with the people. We invest in people. We development. We have people that started as a runner like myself, and we believe on them, but we create a trust with the client, that the client is supposed to trust us and know that we're always going to be there. No matter if it's a mistake or not, we're always going to be there. There's never a shift on attendant in the past 25 years, and that's amazing. But the secret sauce is taking care not only of the client, because we have two clients. Our client, of course, the clientele, the resident, the guest, but our staff. Our secret sauce is taking care of our staff. That's the biggest, because they create a loyalty and they become attached to us. Yeah. And that creates retention. We only have 3% retention in our company, and that's a miracle, I would say.
And so let's talk a little bit more about that and how you do that, because you have over 600 employees in over 60 very high profile locations. You're talking in the convention center, you have contracts with the city of Miami Beach. I mean, those are really high profile locations, and you have a large amount of employees, over 600. And so you've talked about investing in the people, in your company. What are some of the ways that you do that? And how do you ensure that in a company that large, you still have that family feel?
Well, first of all, we invest in what is called career development. That's training. We actually, something really good that you brought, because we are partners with Forvis to the Miami Beach city. We have training every 3 months with Forvis. That's one of the things that we provide to the entire staff. We do them live. We do them 2 different sessions. We do trainings on site, and we have quality assurance. That's something I created as well when I started here, that we have a team that goes to the properties. Not only the area manager, but the team that goes just to say hello, just to bring water, Gatorade, something different, And that creates a different relationship, because at the end, we need to be in their shoes, because you don't know, there's, most of these people have 2 jobs. And what do they expect? For somebody to have those details. But I'm going to tell you something. Yesterday we do celebrations of birthdays like everybody else, but we do it with the entire month. So yesterday in a restaurant, we coordinate everybody. It was about 22 employees that were on birthdays for September. They came. We have them from 1 to 6 p.m. Everybody that could come during that time, everybody came. A cake, food, and when they left, it was like, the food was amazing, but it was the touch, that detail. And that's what we are. We're a company of details. The same thing with the client. When the client comes, you get in your car. I don't know if it has happened to you. You find a phone holder in your car. You find a keychain in your car. And that's small details that we do with the water. That sometimes you drive a lot. Most of the time you're in a car. And when you want to sit in a car, you just want that warm greeting. That warm is like, hey, I'm someone here. So that's basically, I will say, the secret sauce.
I absolutely love that. That's amazing. And so going back to your team, because really people are the core of a company, right? Really, you look at that and that's what you want. The people are what makes the company, makes the organization. And your team, as you've discussed now, it's not just about managing cars. You actually call them directors of first impressions. And you just briefly touched on that as well too. It's that experience. So give me an example of how that has worked in this industry to sort of rebrand to directors of first impressions and what that means. And you've touched on it. You're answering all of my questions before I ask them, Junior. So this is very complicated, but let's expand on it.
Well, I would say director of first impression, let's be real. We're the first impression when you arrive to a property, to a hotel, and the last one. So we focus a lot on appearance. First of all, appearance. You have managers from our operations, like Five Park. You go and he's on a suit with a tie. And it's something that we develop on him. We didn't force him. We develop it. We do it first before we demand it. But
lead by example.
Yeah, that's basically what we are. Yeah. But when it comes to director of first impression, is that we're more than cars. We're people. We prefer people first. And perfect example is a few months ago, I got a call from management from a building, very high-end building, can't disclose the name. But they called me and they told me, look, this resident wants to talk to you. I'm like, oh, but they want to talk to the area manager. They want to talk to the vice president. I'm like, something happened. So I'm like, look, I had a family death yesterday. And when I arrived to the property, when the valet was coming to the round, they were eye contact with me. They smiled at me. They opened me the doors. They grabbed all my packages. And I was just crying. And the valet greeted me with my name, everything. He kind of carried me, brought me a water, took me to the elevator. I hugged him, and I went down in tears. So I just want to say thank you. I'm like, wow. She told me, he made my day. So that's the type of experience that we want to do. It doesn't mean that we're able to do it with 1,000 cars at the same time, but it's just those 7 seconds that we have to impress somebody. As you know, you only have 7 seconds to impress somebody. That's it. That's why directors of first impression is very important for us. Sometimes we're busy, but with a smile, with an eye contact, you can change everything. You can change a day.
Absolutely. I can jump in here and give some sort of like personal experience too, because we talk about this all the time. Your valet company actually manages the valet at the building that I live at. And I have very like constant firsthand experience working with first class parking, and your team has never been anything but professional and kind and warm, and I experience that on a daily basis with what just at my building, and so I can attest to everything that you're saying is absolutely true, not just in a one-off situation, but on a consistent, every single day that I leave or I arrive home, greeted with that smile, greeted with that warmth. And it's very important, I think.
No, and I appreciate that because you smile at them too.
Yeah.
You make them feel part of the community, and that's very important for us as
Absolutely. Well. Absolutely. I absolutely love the team at my building. So going back to you work with some incredible clients, right? You've got the Miami Beach Convention Center, you're Fisher Island, you have luxury projects like Five Park. And so I'm really curious to know what collaborations or opportunities have challenged you to innovate the most.
Well,
I feel like you're going to say Art Basel.
No. I say Art Basel has been too many years.
Right.
So we already create a standard. We
Right.
already know what's coming for Art Basel. We're already getting ready for Art Basel for 150 people of a staff to have them ready. So it's already a standard that we create. And when you create a standard, you have to maintain it. But now that we, went out and we start hitting Five Park, with David Martin, start hitting Fisher Island, is when you realize that there's another level for everything. There's the sky's the limit, how they say. But one of the biggest challenge was, as everybody knows, Fisher Island is the most expensive zip code in the United States. So if you pay them that amount of money, they expect perfection. And we're not perfect, but perfection on a job, it can happen if you work every day. So we brought technology. We brought technology to most of the buildings and hotels that we can show you how many cars they're moving per hour, how much time they're taking per hour. And that's in a lot of consideration when you need more staff and when you want to reduce and control the budget. But it's something that, as I said, they expect perfection. So we create that part of technology and we create a house car plan. As everybody knows, house car is a car that takes you somewhere. The guy is just waiting for you. But we create something more than that. More than that is that the resident has a limo driver for you, for anywhere you want to go. You want to go 5 miles around the area, 6 miles of what we do. In Miami Beach, they go to the best restaurants and they have the best driver there. But it's not a driver that just leave you there and drop you there. No, it's the one that opens the door, take your bags out, help you waiting in the lobby. So that's a touch that we do with valet and house car. And I think we're not perfect, but we're in a good road that is service. If you provide service with a smile, you could get closer to perfection.
Absolutely. And it's exciting to know that you can branch out and do more than just, again, it's more than just valet and it's more than just parking cars, right? And I love the fact that you're incorporating innovation and technology in everything that you do. So on that note, you have personally grown the company by 47%, I believe, in the past 2 years, which is incredible. Mm-hmm. So what do you attribute to that? I mean, I think we've touched on it a lot, but what real strategies or philosophies you think have led to such rapid expansion?
I'm a hands-on people first. That's what I am since I don't know when I was born, but when I started working, I'm always being hands-on and people first, and believing on lead by example. Every time I open a new account, a new property, I don't only close the deal. I'm there at 12, at 5 in the morning, opening the team, passing to the properties, like if I'm in operation still, because I believe leading by example is the best resource that you're gonna get. Why do I say this? Because to grow at 47%, I need referrals. And I want to tell this to everybody that is watching. Referrals is the most the powerful tool that you have for sales. Because I sell a service, I don't sell a product. When I sell a service, I come and tell you everything beautiful, but I tell you, go next door, live the experience. When you live the experience, you come to me, tell me, those are facts. And I believe that's the most important thing that we have right now.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. Okay, so you are Miami Beach. You live and work in Miami Beach. You're a Miami Beach guy. So when you're not, there at like 12 a.m., 5 a.m. on site with your clients, what are your favorite places to relax, unwind, recharge, maybe even draw inspiration? Like, what are your go-to spots?
Well, I tell you this, every time I love to start on 41st and Collins at the beach. I either park or I walk there and I start walking to the pier because it's beautiful, the connection that it has. And it hits to Lincoln Road. When it hits to Lincoln Road, I go down and you just walk and you see everything now with Andres Carneres, Mila, Oro, all these things, all the culture that is coming, in the walks and everything is like, I don't know, it's inspiring. And you see like, wow, hospitality is everything, and we live in a hospitality world. And then I ended up walking. Now David Martin's building that bridge that is going to connect to South Point.
The pedestrian
I take the walk, but now that it's going to be, built, I ended up in South Point. When the cruises leave, you see the end of the day. It's just beautiful.
That's a long walk, Junior.
Yeah, but I take 3 hours probably.
Yeah, I mean that's realistically what it would take.
Nobody believes these. People say, "Oh, but how much you spend?" You don't have to spend any money. Big bottle of water, take that walk, you recharge yourself. And that's something that, I'm sorry to say this, but only Miami Beach has it.
That beach walk, no, that's iconic.
Only has it.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
That's, out of restaurants, we have the best restaurants, we have the best places, clubs, everything. But to recharge, to really feel where we are and to recharge that part of hospitality, Miami Beach is the best way to do it.
I think that's also one of my favorite things to do is to just like be out on the beach walk, walking around the city. I think that's one of the best ways to not only relax and unwind and recharge, but to remind yourself of the work that you're doing and why it's so important. So I completely agree with you on that. We're getting ready to wrap up. Actually, I have my final question to you because it's been such a fun conversation. So my last question to you, if you can go back, not that far back ago, but when you were just starting out, because you're still very young in your career, but when you were just starting out and you can give a piece of advice to your younger self, what advice would you give?
I will say, first of all, join the Miami Beach Chamber.
It's the best advice. That's the best advice you could ever give. Because, I love it.
Yeah, it's going to save you a lot of time connecting to people. Let's be real. No matter your age, no matter your company, it's a great place to do. So invest in yourself, invest in your business. But I will say to myself is this, be patient, believe in the process. Every door, every smile, every greeting, it counts. Because at the end of the day, if you really believe on people, if you do everything for people, everything comes along. So I will say that will be the best advice that I will do. And I will say to myself.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Junior. Be patient and trust in the process. And that's our words of wisdom from Junior. Thank you for joining us today. And this has been another episode of Business Beyond the Beach in partnership with our friends here at Miami Community Newspapers. Thank you so much for watching and join us next week for another episode.